Welcome to Diving Deep with Dr. Danny. Listen, the hour is here. The atmosphere is set. The time is right. It's an opportunity to open up your minds. Use your critical thinking. Let's look at the critical things that are facing our communities right now, both contemporary and historical. Nothing is off limits. Let's get ready. Diving deep. Let's go. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome. Excited to have you all with us again tonight as we dive in deep, as we take a look at another issue that I think is affecting our community, affecting each one of us. So come on in and join with us tonight as we talk a little bit more about just what's happening out there with customer service. Listen. I don't know if you've experienced it like I'm experiencing it, but something's happening out there. There's something happening in community service. It just is. I mean, customer service, whatever it is. I mean, people just not happy to have your business or to have you present in their establishment. And I want to kind of talk about that tonight. I want to talk about some basic employment principles tonight. That's what I want to kind of lay out there and see what we're doing. We see folks are jumping in on Facebook, and we're excited. Brother Battle, good to see you. Good to see you, Sister Davis, Mama, good to see you. Hey, Tanya, good to see you. Julia, good to see you. Listen, are you all able to hear me good? Let somebody give me a thumbs up. If you heard the intro tonight, give me a thumbs up so I know that you heard that. But people are going to be joining all night long. Listen, we're also on YouTube Live. We're streaming on YouTube. So check us out. Look, see if you can find us. All you got to do is Google me, man, and it's there. So jump out there on it. Let's make it happen. Let's see what's happening. We're trying all kind of things, man. We're trying to get out there and make it happen. So hopefully everything is popping up, doing what it needs to do tonight. If not, we'll get it there. But listen. We got to get into what we've been getting into, talking about what we've been talking about. But listen, there's something going on with customer service. There's something about that. I don't know. I don't want to blame it on the pandemic. I don't want to be one of those people who put it there. But people are not as excited about being employed as maybe I think they should be. Am I the only one experiencing that? Is there anybody else out there that can say, listen, when you are out there spending your money, you want to be treated a certain way. You want people to be at least, they don't have to be cheerful about it, but they at least got to be pleasant about it because you're not going to take my money and mistreat me too. That's just me. That's just Dr. Ellis just putting it out there on Front Street. And that's important as business owners, those that are steward of establishments, businesses. You need all the consumers you can get, and you're going to lose some, right? If we don't have this serious talk with some of our employees, some of our customers, I mean, it's gotten really so bad now in fast food. I don't want to even go to fast food. I'd rather somebody come to my house and cook for me. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm trying to stay away from those places because I really want to say something. I try not to be confrontational. But if I'm spending my money, then I want a very good service. So tonight I'm going to talk about what I think are at least 4 major principles or behaviors, or I call them basic employment principles. Hey, we're going to talk about what those look like tonight and see where it goes, man. So I want you to hang in there with me. If you're on Facebook Live, you got some comments, put it in Facebook Live, and we'll kick it, man. We'll kick it and see what it do. See if it do what it do, and we'll make it work, man. Listen. I appreciate you all tuning in. I'm hitting some folks up right now and telling them to jump on so we can do this. Really get into it, because I think this is so important. One of the reasons why I did not allow Malcolm, my son, early on to work in fast food. I told him he could not work for McDonald's. I told him he could not develop early in his life those poor work habits. I just told him he couldn't. He could not because there was some of the most the work habits, the attitude, the disposition. I'm gonna talk all about that. I did not want him to have that embedded in his mind. So I'm telling you, there's a lot of things out there. I'm talking about from restaurants that we go to. People act like they don't want to take your order. They act like they don't want to. I mean, I'm seeing it not just in one location. I'm saying as I'm traveling around this country, I'm seeing it. Sometimes I see it at hotels that I stay in. Now, I got to say that typically, now this is not always true, but if the high value or the high end establishments, you have less of it than you do at maybe some of your local establishments. But it's tough. I don't care how you're doing it. It's tough. Listen, I have a position that's available in an organization that I manage down in Fayetteville, and I'm looking for a program manager right now. And I'm telling you, it is tough. It is tough to find good help out there. It's tough to find people that really want to work out there. So we gotta talk about that briefly, and then we gotta jump right into what I think it ought to look like. What the disposition that ought to be present, and what you may need to do as an employer. What you may need to look at and have some discussion about. And being able to do that. So I'm just gonna tell you that because here's the thing, man. And even down to promoting internally, there's some problems. People can work for you, but if they don't have the perpetuity of the organization at the forefront of their mind, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, then they're not the right person to be representing the organization. And maybe you have a relative, maybe you have a child or grandchild or somebody who's constantly talking about why they're not getting promoted or why they're not getting more hours at work or whatever the case may be. I think you might need to tune in to this video, to this podcast, to this live, and I think you ought to have some serious discussion with their disposition. Now, the challenge is if you're one of those people who think that your behavior is acceptable when it's not, then someone who's connected to you or attached to you won't know the difference, because people emulate what they see. They duplicate what they see. They imitate what they see. And so if you come from a household that does not value upward mobility, then this is a problem. This is foreign to you. You feel like you can have a disposition that is out of character. I mean, I don't know what your thought process is, but I'm trying to tell you that it is a meaningful discussion that we need to have tonight. We need to have it tonight. So if you're on Facebook Live or YouTube or wherever the case may be, please hit somebody up. Let them know, hey, listen, Dr. D is there. He's talking, he's going to deep, and he's going to talk about these things tonight, and you want to be a part of it. Now, this is important. This is important because it's not limited to low entry organizations. I'm talking about at every level. I drive a Lexus 500, LS 500, and I'm telling you, when I go to a car dealership, and I buy a car about every 3 years. When I go to the service department, because I have a service plan with all my vehicles. I mean, whatever it is, and it does not always have to be in person. I'm talking about on telephone. When I'm talking to people, Sirius XM. I mean, it doesn't matter what the situation is. If the behavior is less than optimal, then the chances of me doing some continuous business with you is problematic. It's just problematic. And something needs to be done about it. Something needs to be done about it. Let me tell you, I don't care what the setting is. We need to address that, and it need to be addressed, right? And Battle says that training is the key. It is. Training is paramount in doing that. But reinforcement is important too. Reinforcement is important too. I tell people all the time, how your children behave at school is how you allow them to behave at home. There's no reason to try to correct it at school and then they come home and have the same buckety buck type behavior. We have to address it at every end of that spectrum. It has to be talked about, right? It has to be talked about. Because I found this to be true as an educator. I found this to be very, very true, that a lot of times, whatever the child is doing, when you call the parent out there, if you watch the parent close enough, you'll find out that it's not an enigma. It really is who they are. It is what they know. It is what they know, because their parent comes out there with the wrong disposition, as if they're bothered and able to do that. So listen, let's get right into this, man. Let's have some talk again. Hit some folks up and let them know that we are live talking about this right here, seeing where it goes, seeing what's happening with it. And listen, man, it's going to be worth your while. Listen, so there's 4 things that I think that we need to warrant discussion tonight. Get right into this. That are basic employment principles. And I'm going to give you those, and then I'm going to come back and talk about them. The first one, I think that there's never an excuse not to be professional. I think professional is always right. Professional. Number 2, I think you need to be prudent, and I'm going to talk about what that looks like. Then third, think you ought to prioritize your work. And then fourth, I think you ought to pay attention. All right, so it's 4 of them. Let me give them to you again, because I know people are writing it down. They're listening to it. So let me say it again, right? You got to be professional. You got to be prudent. You got to prioritize work, and you got to pay attention. Now, I cannot tell you the tremendous amount of times that people call me because they have problems at work, right? They have problems at work. And I always believe that everything starts internal, right? I don't deal with external until I dealt with internal, right? It's not what other people do to you. It's your response to the environment that's created. So I talk about that, and I come at you like that. So if you want me for a life coach, and I've coached at a very high level, I've been an executive coach at a very high level, and I deal with people at every level, and I'm telling you now, at every level, but all work is internal. All work is internal, right? I'm just trying to tell you that. Now, that's important. That's important. You can diffuse an environment. You know what I'm saying? You can mitigate circumstances if you got yourself together on the inside, right? On the inside. People ought not know that you don't want to be at work. People ought not know that. There's no reason for people to know that you don't want to be at work, right? There's no reason that you ought to be presenting that or that disposition at all. Should not even come into play, right? Should not even come into play, okay? So let me deal with this professional, what it means to be professional. Let me say this, and some of this stuff is going to sound like petty or maybe detailed, right? But let me say this, because I have experienced this very recently. So let me explain something to you. When you're waiting on your clients, when you're waiting on your customers, you're waiting on your participants, right? You do not need to be on a cell phone. You do not need to be on the cell phone. Now I know, because I have, if I reach into my pocket, I have them in my pocket somewhere right now. I know that you all have them out there. I know you have this right here. These little things that stick in your ear, and you have all of that. Let me explain something to you. Right? If it's not work related, now I'm not talking about the people that work the drive-through at McDonald's or Taco Bell. They got to have something in their ear like I have on headphones. No. If you are dealing with the public, if you are the what I call the portal entry, you're the entry point into an organization, right? It is a professional environment. you need not be on the cell phone talking to your boyfriend or talking to your girlfriend or talking to your mama. See, y'all, I know you don't want to hear that. You need not be on that cell phone. Listen to me. Listen to me, right? I have been to establishments and seen people, right, who are FaceTiming other people while conducting business with me. Let me tell you a couple of things that are wrong with that to start with. Whatever I discuss with you, right, is related to that particular job. No one on the other end, on your phone or on your FaceTime or whatever it is, should be able to hear my voice, right? There's some legal reasons for that because I have not given them permission, right? Because in essence, you are recording. That's what you're doing. You're recording because someone on the other end using the device is hearing whatever transaction is taking place. You should not violate people's privacy like that. Imagine this for a moment in a professional environment. You go into a doctor's office, right, or dental office, or you can come up with whatever you want to, and you go to the counter, and the lady, or the gentleman, whoever it is that receives you there, says, "May I help you?" Okay, you at a doctor's office, right? So now you have to tell this person you're there to see Dr. whoever it is. I have an appointment, or better yet, right? Why do you need to see Dr. Ellis? Why do you need to see him? Well, I have not been able to sleep at night because I've been urinating all night, or something along those lines that you have to tell them. Whatever the case may be, right? It is your business. It is your business, right? No one through an earpiece on a cell phone, a family member, friend, whatever it is, should have access to what you discussed at that job. Now, let me say this to you as well as I'm talking about being professional. You have to be very careful, listen to me, about when you leave work, how much of work you discuss with anybody. Okay, see, I knew you weren't ready for that. I'm going to say this again. You have to be very careful, right? Because in the workplace you have HIPAA, you know about all of that. But if you take that information outside of the workplace, you need to think about it. You need to really, really think about it. Hey, Molly, I see y'all coming in. And listen to me. I'm telling you now, because let me tell you something. Your organization can get in a whole lot of trouble, right, if that thing circles back around to that individual. Well, let's say, for instance, if you are working at a doctor's office and a young lady comes in and she reveals to you that she thinks she's pregnant. See? You think she's pregnant. And you may know her because you live in small town America, right? You may know her. But it does not mean that she has revealed that to any other family member. See what you've done? And I know you said, no, I would never do that. I would never. No, I'm telling you that I have went to some of these local convenience stores, right? And I'm telling you that they are on the phone. They're on the phone while they are taking care of customers. So I'm telling you again, under the professionalism, one of the things that are needed, one of the 4 things I just told you about, right, that I'm going to discuss tonight, you must be professional, right? There's no excuse not to be professional. Now, I could hear somebody saying right now, well, it's not in a professional environment. It is if I'm there. It should be if you're there. It should be a professional environment. So you need to be careful about the cell phone use at work. Number 2, under professional, watch this now. You need to dress for success. Right? You need to dress for success. Now, I know ain't nobody going to say nothing tonight in the chat. Nobody's going to say anything to me because we think everything is acceptable now. We think everything is acceptable. You know why? Because our children are doing it. Right? Our children are doing it. So you're trying to alter the standard because you're trying, again, to be friendly as opposed to being focused. That's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. But the truth of the matter is that they are to dress for success. And I'm telling you, I went to a lot of these establishments. They're not dressed for success at all. At all. I mean, not nearly. They just are not. They are not. Okay? right? That some of them are dressed as if they just came off the street, as my mama would say it. They're just coming off the street. And see, you represent the owner of that establishment or the director or whoever it is. You represent them. You do not represent yourself. Let me say that again. You do not represent yourself, right? That's one of the things that when you're hired, right, you are supposed to make a good public presentation of that establishment, right? I'm telling you now, nobody should be able to go around and say, you know, when you go see so-and-so, it's straight hood, right? You know, I'm telling you, it is so important. It is so important that you dress for success. Now, I'm not talking about you need to go to McDonald's with a 3-piece suit on. That's not appropriate because you don't wear a suit there. But here's what I do tell you: your uniform need to be clean and pressed, right? It just does, because you got to dress for success. Well, what about all these other places, right? That people have to frequent. Right? Nobody needs to. I went to a place that, and I won't mention what the place is, but I went to the place to have my manicure done. Not recently. It's been now more than a year or two, and the person that worked there had lice in their hair. Right? Yeah, I could see it. I could see it right then. I could see it when I was there. Right? All of that is important. That's important. If you work in a restaurant, you work in a clinic, your nails, first of all, they need to be clean. And then on second of it, they need not be ridiculously long, right? Ridiculously long. Now, I know you're not going to like it tonight. You're not going to want to roll with me. But I'm going to explain something to you. If you're working with food, right? I don't need, you said gloves and all. I done seen this right here. If you're working with patient, client, if you typing on, listen, them nails need to be acceptable. They need to be acceptable. That's part of your dress. That's part of your dress. Dress for success. That's professionalism. I'm telling you. And that's hurt in a lot of restaurants. I don't want to start calling names, but places that you frequent, places that you eat, you wonder, all right, what's really going on? Listen to me. And so again, it needs to be professional. So the cell phone use need to be looked at, right? First of all, we on the phone too much anyway. Then we need to dress for success. The third thing under professionalism is you need to have a workplace attitude, right? You need to have a workplace attitude. And watch this, not only a workplace attitude, but you need to have a workplace voice. Your voice, your voice. Listen to me. You know when you're a little kid or in school, they tell you where's your indoor voice or where's your inside voice. Whatever the case may be. But attitude is everything, because I believe attitude determines altitude. It determines how high you go. I could tell you right now. That I'm not far away from retirement. I own a couple of businesses. I run a couple of businesses, whatever the case may be. And obviously, I'm looking for someone to take that over. I'm looking for somebody to take that over. Because I don't want to do this forever. I got some traveling I want to do. I got some golf that I want to do. I got some other stuff that I want to do and whatever the case may be. But I cannot seem to find somebody who has the right workplace attitude, right? Even if they're working for me, I cannot let them be the face of the organization. They cannot represent me in meetings. They cannot represent me in certain places. And that's problematic. And when you start talking about promotions, and watch this now, because people get upset when you hire somebody external, right? Right now, I'm dealing with, at least I got the word yesterday, to deal with this recruiter firm and look for, let them help me look for somebody to come in and to be able to do, I know Indeed does it as well in places like that, but I'm telling you, I'm dealing right now with the Employment Security Commission or whatever you call them, NC Works, and I'm telling you, a lot of those people are not screened very well. They're not screened very well. Just by talking to them on the phone, doing a pre-interview, right? A pre-interview, all I can hear is children on the phone. That's all I can hear. And then they tell me, well, the attitude is not right. As if I'm bothering them. You fill out an application for a job. It comes through the system and comes to me. I follow up with you and you acting like it's a problem, like as if it's problematic. Attitude is everything. It is everything in the workplace. And you talk about, well, they're not paying me anything. Let me explain something to you. When I entered the workforce, and it's been years ago, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if my mother is online or not, but I was making less than $2.35 an hour. Now you can Google that. I think it was $1.65 was minimum wage when I entered the workforce. $1.65 was the amount. I don't know, Molly, if any of you all remember back, maybe 50 years ago at all. But it made no difference what they were paying me, right? My attitude had to be right. My disposition had to be right. My professionalism had to be there. It's not a measure of money, right? Because let me tell you something that you need to understand. I want you to write this down. There's not enough money to buy a class. There's not enough money to buy a class. Listen to me. Either you're classy or you're not. It has nothing to do with what you get paid. It has nothing to do with getting paid. I watched my mother work at Donnelly Marketing for most of my young life. And I never seen her go to work dirty. I never seen it. Never seen it. And when she first started working there, she worked there as a janitor. Watch this now. She worked as a janitor and then worked her way up. She worked her way up to then she was supervisor and training folk before it was all said and done. Because I'm trying to tell you that if you have the right attitude, then that glass ceiling is not going to hit you as early. It's not that cap is not going to be there. There's something about being around people that are pleasant. See, I know y'all not going to say anything to me on Facebook tonight, but I'm telling you now, there's something about being pleasant that makes you want to put people close. Let me explain something to you, right? I am not going to have somebody working closely with me and they're not a pleasurable person. You just not, right? It's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to promote you. I'm just going to tell you that. I'm not going to promote you where I have to interact with you on a regular basis. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. So professionalism is there. Let me move quickly to this second one so you need to understand it. I don't care where you work, you need to be prudent. Yeah, you need to be prudent. Did you hear what I said? Yeah, prudent, right? You need to be prudent. You need to be to work in the morning on time. On time. You need to be prudent. Listen to me. There's no reason that on a regular basis, right, you can't get to work when you're supposed to be at work. I'm just trying to tell you, if you're on the clock, right, you should be there to hit your clock before your assigned time. You need to be there, right? I don't care if somebody's got to give you a nursing report and pass it along to you or whatever, but you need to be in place. You need to be in place. I travel and I go a lot of places. You'd be surprised how many places have to wait till start time to figure out how many people they got. Because ain't nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. So they're not even sure, right? They can't even rely on you. And I know what you're saying is, well, they don't pay me enough money for that. Again, what I told you now. What I told you, right? Class and money is not the same thing, man. Listen to me, right? Presenting yourself as a classy person has nothing to do with how much money you got in your pocket or how much money people pay you. It has to do with your upbringing and your understanding of who you are. All right, so let me say something that you need to understand. Kings and queens don't dress any kind of way. They dress according to their custom, right? That's what they do. I'm trying to tell you that, right? And we need to instill that consistently. Matter of fact, as it relates to this thing about professionalism and prudence, that's why a lot of schools have gone to people wearing uniforms, right? Part of the reason, besides the high dollar tennis shoes and stuff that people wear, or the clothes, to kind of de-emphasize that. But I'm just telling you, people have gone to people wearing uniforms, but at the same time, you need to be there on time. You need to be prudent. You need to be on time. Now, the second thing under prudent, listen to me, right? Don't miss work. Don't miss work. I know in this new genre, new generation, people feel like there it is, right? Yeah, I see. You have to crawl before you can walk. You have to 15 minutes early. You need to be there. But I'm telling you, man, listen to me. Don't miss work, because when I interviewed you, you told me you were dependable. You told me I could count on you, right? That's what you said. And so I eliminated other people in order to give you an opportunity and a chance, right? You need to be at work. Don't miss work. Now, I know what you're thinking in your mind, because if you have an excuse in your mind, right, you're already in trouble. The maximum effective range of an excuse is 0 meters. You asked that person for a job. You took up their time to be interviewed. You went through the whole recruiting process or whatever it is. Come to work. Be to work on time. Don't miss work. Don't miss work. Don't call in. And I know what you're saying is, you said, well, that's what sick time is for. Do you know the reason why they make you accumulate sick time? Do you know the reason why? Why don't they just give you, and I'm just suggesting that if they give you 8 hours a month, right? Why don't they just go ahead 8 hours a month times 12, 96 hours, I guess I got it right, a year. Why don't they just give you the 96 hours up front? Why do they give it to you the way they give it to you? Huh? Why do they give it to you? Because, watch this, because you would have people who would misuse it. Right? Misuse it. Now you said, well, Doc, listen to me, man. Anybody can get sick. Really? Really? Let me explain to you how it works so you can understand it real quick, and I'm going to move fast. When you're running a company, you run it really based on 3 levels. You have what we call a strategic planning level, you have a tactical planning level, and you have a detailed planning level. That's the 3 levels that organizations operate on. Now, strategic is way out well in advance, right? So we can make some adjustments if you're having surgery, right? Tactical is months out. Month to month, we can make some adjustments. But once the time schedule comes out, right? Once it is published, right? Then people who are not on that schedule for that weekend or whatever day it is, they've made other plans. So they're not available to fill in for you. They got plans at the beach. They got plans at a concert. It is unfair for folk to get called in for you when you're already on the schedule. But you said, well, you could wake up one morning and be sick. That's true. But can I tell you something? As a boss, as a leader, we know if you're really sick or not. You know how we know? Because professional people, right, when something happens to them, it's an exception. It's an exception. We know it's an exception. We know, we can tell by their demeanor, we can tell by their disposition that this ain't something that they make up. This ain't something that they do. This ain't something that they just side. No. We know people. We can tell, right? Let me tell you how I can tell, right? Because first of all, people who are really serious about what they're doing, a lot of times they're at work and they're sick, and you got to tell them to go home. They don't want to leave. They want to do their job. They want to honor their commitment. And you have to come in there and tell them, hey, John, hey, Joanne, or whatever, listen, you need to go home. I'm hearing the congestion in you. You need to go home. No, I stay. I can finish this shit. Yeah, we can make it without you. I appreciate that. I appreciate your dedication to the organization. Boom. But listen, you need to go home. Now, so next, 6 months down the road, if they call in, I know that they're sick. Because they didn't even want to leave when I told them to leave. See, that shows me. That shows me how prudent they are, how they're professional they are, because they want to be at work. Now, I know you thinking of all kind of excuses that you want to come up with and say, well, what if this? What if that? I'm giving you some general ideas here that if someone hired you, you need to be at work. You need to be at work, and you need to be there when you need to be there. Now, the sick time is there for you to utilize it. But here's the problem. What happens, crying wolf, what happens if you have to have surgery? Right? If you really got something that a burst appendix or something like that, and you need 2 or 3 days off, right? See what I'm saying? So make sure that you're prudent. Make sure you're professional. Make sure you're prudent, right? Now that means prudent. It means be on time, don't miss work, and watch this now. When you're prudent, complete the work. Complete the work. Listen to me. I cannot express to you the number of people that's asked for a job. And then I hire them. And then you want to get paid up front. But then you don't complete the work. You don't complete the work. You do part of what you told me. I hired someone one time, and it wasn't long ago, to do marketing for me. Yeah, I hired them to do marketing for me. And as part of that marketing package, it's still been, dealing with a website, some time ago. Supposed to be some business cards as part of it. They showed me their business card. There's supposed to be a couple of flyers that was part of it. And the person was supposed to do all of that, right? They need to do all of that. Actually, they didn't design the website. They were fixing a website that already existed. And do you know that has been, quite a bit of time. I ain't got the cards yet, the business cards that they promised. I didn't get the flyer that I was promised. Because what happened is the person used my name, my business, as part of their portfolio in order to generate other business. And when they got the other business, they got too busy to go back and do what they had promised they were going to do for me. Right? What they promised to do for me. Now, you say, well, what does that mean, Doc? Tell me what that means. That means that whenever someone asks me in the future about that individual, right, about that individual and whether or not I think that person does great work, they may do great work, but they're not a finisher. They are not a finisher. Did you hear what I said? They're not a finisher. And that thing follows you. That thing follows you, right? Because the devil is in the details. The devil's in the details, and you need to be able to do that. You really do. You really do, right? If you tell somebody you're going to come by and give them an estimate, right, and you give them a date and time, put that thing down. Because see, we have iPhones and stuff now. Everything, you can put everything on your calendar right now. You know where you're supposed to be. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know when you're supposed to be at work, right? So all that stuff is there, right? So you got to complete the work, man. I mean, don't leave work early and you haven't done what you say you're going to do, what was supposed to be done the night. There's some charting that need to be done. Whatever it is, you need to complete the work. That's what being prudent is about. And I cannot tell you the number of times I've come into the organization and the person has already gone home, has already left, gone home, right? Gone home. And I'm like, wait a minute, because here's my policy. This is how I operate. If you work for me, then you know this, right? When I call you to my office, you need to come in with a pen and a piece of paper anyway. Because I'm going to give you 4 or 5 things that I want done. If I call you on the phone, right, and you work for me, I'm going to give you a list of things that I need done over a period of time, right? And if you don't write it down, then I know something about you already because you're not that good, right? You need to write it down because at the end of the conversation, I'm going to act like I don't remember. Because I'm going to ask you, I'm saying, listen, I told you, I know there's about 5 things that I told you that what were those 5 things? And if you say, well, I don't know, let me see if no. Already I'm thinking about replacing you. Already I'm thinking about the issue with you because you didn't even write down the 5 things I needed for you to do. So you don't even know the deliverables. You don't know what's expected of you. So you cannot come back and tell me you've been a good employee, because you haven't. Because you don't even know what the expectations are. And I see it a lot in the contemporary customer service realm. Waitress come there and take my order and don't write it down. They don't write it down, right? So let me explain something to you. If I'm going somewhere to get breakfast, I don't want my toast after I finish eating. You forgot my toast? And then you're going to bring me the food, right? And then so you got to go back and make whatever it is that you didn't do. And my food is supposed to get cold while it's sitting in front of me while I'm waiting on my toast and or whatever it is that I'm waiting on, or my pancakes with no butter on it. See, you need to write that down. There's nothing wrong with taking notes. I trust you more when you take notes, right? I trust you more. If you understand how electronic records work now and medical records work now, you better be glad they got a computer in the room. You need to be glad, because they're writing this stuff down as it takes place, right? So stop doing that. Stop doing that. So make sure you complete the work. If you say you're going to do it, if I hired you to do my lawn and I gave you a list of things that I want done, I want those done. If I hired you to clean my house, I want you to do those things, man. I want that done. I want it done at the degree that you told me, because I'm going to pay you on time. I'm going to pay you the exact penny that you asked for. Right? I mean, that's just the bottom line. I'm not gonna try to, no, I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm gonna pay you. So complete the work. Here's the third thing. I told you to prioritize work. Let me give this to you. Under prioritize work, remember the four categories are professional, prudent, prioritize work, and I'll finish up by paying attention. But watch this. Prioritize work. Here's what I'm talking about, right? Number one, work before pleasure. Work before pleasure, right? Your job comes before you go into the beach. If you're on the schedule to work, right? I don't want to hear nothing about somebody called you about going to the beach or somewhere like that. You can't even consider it. I tell students this all the time. When you accepted the agreement to come to college, listen to me. You are a full-time student. That is your priority. It is not the party on the weekend. It is not, listen to me, it's not the football game. It's not the basketball game, right? No, it is this classwork. It is this classwork. Listen to me now. This classwork, I don't hear nothing about you partied to 2 o'clock in the morning and you overslept and you didn't make it to the 9 o'clock class. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I give you a 0. Miss my quiz if you want to. Miss my test if you want to. I don't want to hear it. I don't have no, because you are a student. You took someone else's slot. You did. You don't understand that for applications that come into a school, every time we choose a student, there's 3 others that we turn down. There are 3 other potential people that could have been in that position, could have been serious about what they were doing, and you done fool your parents, right? And so, for whatever reason, you got selected and you're here, right? Then you need to be present and accounted for. When I was in the military, we did formations in the morning. Squad leaders did count. They looked down. They would say to me, present and accounted for, right? I'm all the way down as a first sergeant. My platoon sergeant would tell me everybody in that platoon was present and accounted for, right? That's because their squad leaders told them that everybody in their squad was present and accounted for. So everybody had to show up for work. Even if you were sick, watch this now, you could not miss work. Even in the military, you had to go to sick call, right? You had to get up. You could not lay there. You had to go to sick call, and you had to be accounted for. So I'm telling you, prioritize work. Listen. Do what you have to do so later on in life you can do what you want to do. Listen to me. Do what you have to do so later in life you can do what you want to do. It makes no sense for you to be 50 years old, watch this now, no investments, no retirement, watch this, no tenure, no nothing, all because you were into the pleasure thing. You didn't prioritize work. Work before pleasure. Get your job done. Don't have nobody calling you in the middle of the day, telling you to tune in to TikTok and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Don't have people doing that, man. You at work, be at work. Prioritize work. Prioritize work. It'll pay off in the end. Look at where I am right now. At my age right now, at the end of this year, I'll celebrate 60 years, and I ain't got to hit a lick and nothing else. I can play golf every day if I choose to. Now, if you get that age and you still got to work, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? I'm not talking about relying on some governmental system and nothing. I ain't talking about relying on nothing. I'm talking about what you have done. You prioritize work, right? Number 2, get your personal life in order. Listen to me. When I talk about prioritizing work, get your personal life in order, right? Listen to me. I'm telling you, man, listen, you can't have your kids, bringing them to work and all this kind of thing, right? I mean, come on now. You got listen. Okay. See, I knew this was going to be hard for you. But when you wanted to get out in the streets and do what you wanted to do, you found somebody to watch them then. Oh yeah, when you wanted to go to the Mary J. Blige concert, you remember that? When you wanted to go see Usher or whatever it was, Nas or whatever it was, you found somebody to watch them then. When you wanted to go out on a date, you found somebody to watch them. Now it's time to go to work, and now you got to say what? I ain't got nobody to watch them. This is my situation. No, come on now. Listen to me. Right? Matter of fact, now watch this. You're not going to like this at all. Right? You don't need to be taken off work because your child, right? Unless they're sick. Now, I get that. I'm talking about you got children who ain't doing what they need to do. They got to go somewhere. They're of age. No, that's the, listen, I tell people all the time, your struggle need to be in the early lives of your child. As time progresses, as they get older, right? As they get older, they need to be more disciplined. They need to be more disciplined so you can do what you need to do, right? It makes no sense. Here you are 50 years old and your excuse for work or whatever has something to do with a child. You 50, right? I'm trying to tell you, and that's the issue that we have with many when we start talking about customer service, right? I'm just telling you that I can't come to work, my child need to use my car, all that kind of stuff. Personal life in order. And whatever you do, listen to me, I done seen this. Don't be bringing your boyfriend to your job. He's so insecure, he got to sit there while you working. He's sitting in the establishment. He's sitting in the restaurant. He's sitting in the store, and you trying to work. Come on, we got to be better than that, people. We got to be better than kings and queens. We got to be better than that. We got to be better than that. I'm telling you. Now, I know you think this is Neanderthal, it's old-fashioned. I'm trying to tell you how to get to the next financial level. I'm just trying to tell you that. I'm trying to give it to you. I don't want to deal with that. Now, if you're really good at what you do, you'll get a job with flexibility. Because you're dependable. You get it done when you need to get it done. But I'm talking about people who have an 8 to 5. 8 to 5, 8 o'clock, you need to be there. Not coming in, you need to be there. Not trying to hear all this stuff about your children, your boyfriend. And let me tell you something. When I was nursing, nothing bothered me more than a nurse, first of all, being late. And then a boyfriend got to drop her off. Watch this now. He got the car. She working, right? As much as nurses make money-wise, it's your car. He drops you off. Same thing with teachers. He drops you off. At the end of the shift, I'm going to leave or do what I need to do, but you're standing on the sidewalk. I got to walk past you, and you're going to tell me your ride ain't picked you up. My ride ain't here. I'm like, your ride? What are you talking about? My boyfriend, he ain't picked me up. Can I tell you why he ain't picked you up? Because he's somewhere he ain't got no business being. See, you weren't ready for that, were you? Your personal life is not in order, right? You in the break room, you around there crying because you're on the phone with him, or you're on the phone with your child, or something along those lines that you can't even get your work done. I used to be in charge of a whole lot of nurses' assistants and have those issues going on. you outside and then your compadre got to tell me, I got to give you some time. No, if Mr. John Light is going off in his room and he needs his urinal empty, I expect you to do that. I don't expect you to be on the phone around there pleading, trying to figure out where he is and all this. Get your personal life in order. Because I'm going to tell you something, you need to remember this. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I don't care who you dated. I don't care who you're married to. If they're not going to be a plus in your life, they got to go. They got to go. They got to go. No, if they're going to make you late for work, make me late if you want to. No, sir, buddy, you got to go. You got to go. You got to go. So here it is, personal life in order. Here's the third thing. Focus on expected outcome. Now, watch this. When you focus on expected outcomes, watch this now, then you don't get caught up in every little thing that goes on at work. Watch this now. Because the expected outcome is that they're going to pay you. They're going to pay you. Right? Because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Now, I don't care how crazy it get at work. Give me my check. I ain't going to get too bothered with what's going on with what they talking about. They don't invite me to lunch. Okay, I'm sorry. But ain't nothing gonna bother me at work unless the company goes bankrupt and I don't get paid. I'm telling you now, I'm not worried about you brought everybody else donuts and I ain't get none. Because I don't wear my feelings on my sleeve. Did you hear me? No, sir. All I want is what we agreed to contractually. Right? What we agreed to. If I agree to come work for $5,000 a month, whatever it is, listen, don't come talk to me about no $4,000. We agreed to $5,000. I want my money. Right? I want my money. Now, anything else, right? As long as it ain't disrespectful to me, right? And it don't deal with me directly, I'm about doing what I told you I was going to do. You have a requirement to pay me. I have a job description that I need to meet. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And sometimes things change and I got to take on a little bit more than I do. And I will. And I'll do that because I know about being part of a team. I do. I know about doing that. But I'm telling you, listen, I am not going to listen. I want my money. Did you hear what I said? I'm telling you, because listen, my family need their money, right? See, my mortgage company want their money on time. My mortgage is due on Thursday. That's the first of the month, right? My mortgage is due. My car note is due. My cable is due. And so long as they put that money in the state employee credit union or wherever, that's what the deal is. So I don't play around my employees. I pay them. And I pay them on time. I pay them on time because I want them at work on time. Matter of fact, here's the truth of the matter. My employees that work for me down in Fayetteville, they really supposed to get paid on the 15th, but I pay them on the 1st. I'm paying them 15 days before they're supposed to get paid. So they don't have to even work in the hole. They don't. They don't have to even work. They ain't got to wait that extra 15 days. I know what the company policy is, but I pay them on the 1st. See what I'm talking about? Because I don't want nobody playing with my money. So I don't play with nobody else's. So I'm telling you right now, focus on the expected outcome. Right? Focus on now, if you asking me to work overtime, then I have a right to say no, if that's what I want to do. But watch this now. But whatever my base salary is, I want that. Now, bonus, I got to go over and beyond. I get that. I'm trying to tell y'all what time it is. Listen to me. I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to show you how to get to the next level. Now, let me deal with this last thing. I ain't got but a few minutes left. Let me explain something to you. So, first of all, the base employment principle, you got to be professional, right? I'm talking about dressing, cell phone use. Go back and listen and it'll tell you what the deal is. You got to be prudent. You got to be on time. Don't miss work. You got to complete the work. You got to prioritize work. That means you got to work before pleasure. You got personal life got to be in order. You got to focus on expected outcome. But this final thing, listen to me, right? If you're going to do well, watch this now. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. Listen to me. I don't care what your level of work is. You need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. Now, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. If you cooking, you a cook, you need to pay attention. Right? If you're a doctor and you're doing surgery, you need to pay attention. Whatever it is, you need to pay attention. Here it is. Number one under pay attention. Here it is. This is where it gets tough. You're going to want to remember this. Be good at what you do. Let me put this again. Be good at what you do. Right? Be good at what you do. S.D. Whitaker, I think you missed one of the principles. Be professional, be prudent, prioritize, and pay attention. There you go. That's the four of them. Thank you for writing the notes. Right? Be professional, prudent, prioritize, work, and pay attention. Now, here it is where it gets tough. Right? Pay attention. Be good at what you do. Right? Be good, not mediocre. Right? No, mediocrity is not accepted. No, be good at what you do. And I'm not talking about self-aggrandizing. I'm not talking about this stuff people doing on Facebook, like youtobomb.com. You're not. No. I'm talking about being really good at what you do. There's only a few, 10% of the people doing what you do is really good at what they do. You need to be in that 10%. You need to be in that 10%. I'm not talking about no. You need to be real, and you can tell when you're really good. You can tell. You can tell when you're really good. Now, I'm not talking about where your head messed up. No, I'm talking about being really good at what you do. In every aspect of my life, I try to be very good at what I do. Very good at what I do. Now, I'm not liked by everybody, but I'm not in that popularity piece. But I'm really good at what I do. Now, no, I ain't worked for nobody. Nobody I've worked for in years can tell you that Ellis ain't good. I'm good at what I do. And that ain't no ego thing right there. I'm telling you, man. Let me tell you something. The students that have been under my watch that I've taught, they'll tell you. Now, the ones who write bad comments, bad remarks, it's because of my standards. See, I'm not going to alter my standards to be liked. Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to maintain a standard. So that means, watch this. Here's a clash that takes place. If you suffer from mediocrity, if you're a mediocre person, you and I are always going to clash. Right? If you a C performer, I'm an A performer, we're going to clash. You're not going to like me. I'm cool with that. Right? You don't read, you don't study, you're going to have a problem with me. You can always see me as hard. You're always going to see me as difficult. I can live with that. I can live with that. You understand? I've made my money. I've gotten rich being good at what I do. Ellis Research and Consulting, listen to me. I just did a project last summer. I did a project that paid me almost $400 an hour. $400 an hour. Right? I did it for a company in Winston-Salem. $400 an hour. I'm telling you, man. And so I had to be really good. When you're good. This is what they asked me when I negotiated the contract with them. They said, how much do you want an hour in order to get this project done? What do you want? What do you think you're worth? Right? They said, give me a number. And I said, I think I said 375. I think that's what I said, 375. I can pull it up and show it to you right now. I can show you the invoice right now if I needed to. If I needed to share my screen, I could pull it up and show you where they paid me that amount of money. And you say, well, that's because you got to be really good at what you do, right? It means you got to be on time. Nothing bothers me than people that's late. Don't waste my time. I got other stuff to do, right? I got other stuff to do. And I found this to be true. Low-paying people, low-earning people, in a lot of cases, are people who are very, very slothful, right, in due diligence. And then they wonder why their life is so scattered. They have no order to it. I'm telling you, watch this now. Be good at what you do, really good at what you do. Now people don't like what I say. People don't like what I preach. They don't like what I teach. They may not like it. But let me tell you something. When you go and verify, you'll say he's done due diligence. He's done the work. Number two, underneath that, I'm going to move quickly. If you're going to pay attention, watch this now. You have to invest in your craft. You have to invest in it. If you're going to do something that affects people's lives, you have to read. You have to know what's the latest technology out there. You got to know the latest techniques. There's some things in nursing that they're doing now that they weren't doing it 30 years ago, 35 years ago when I went into nursing, right? They're doing it much better now. When I went into nursing, there was no computers in no hospital room, right? Matter of fact, you hand wrote notes. Your care plan was handwritten. Ain't nobody doing that no more. Now you just put in a disease process and it tells you the things you need to check and you need to do. You need to invest in your craft. If you need an iPad, get an iPad. If you need it, whatever it is, invest in your craft. Listen, I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing this live stream. I'm still learning it, but I can tell you, if you can look on this stream right now, I don't know if you can see it or not. You can see I got new equipment, man. I got mixers and microphones and all this kind of stuff. And I spent the money. I'm telling you, you have to invest in your craft. Listen to me, right? You got to pay attention. You got to know what's out there. You got to know what's out there. And here's the final thing. I'm going to get this to you and I'm done. Here it is, right? I'm going to pay attention. Know the environment. Know the environment. Listen to me. In other words, know your customers. Know your customer base. Let me explain something to you, right? I know you're not going to like what I'm saying, but let me tell you something. I don't go to places that don't honor me. I don't. Listen. I don't go to establishments where they're cussing and carrying on. You better know your environment. You better know who's standing there, right? You better know who's standing there. You better know who's the CEO of a company, right? You better know who's a doctor. You better know. You better know your environment, because if not, one phone call from them can cost you your job, right? Listen to me. One phone call from them can make a world of difference. Know your environment. I'm telling you. Listen to me. I'm trying to tell you something. I have several millionaire friends, several of them, more wealthy than I am, right? And I'm telling you, right? If they tell me don't do business with you, I'm probably not going to do business with you. But likewise, if you are a certain way with me, I'm going to tell them not to do business with you. I'm going to tell them. In our circle, in our time together, I'm going to tell them, don't get so-and-so. Because because when I was in their presence, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand to be there. Just the environment. It was too hood. It was too hoodish. Did you hear what I said? It was too hoodish. It was too ghetto. It was too disorganized. I heard the employees in there talking personal business on the phone. And I was a patient waiting in the waiting room. You'd be surprised the number of people that have no idea. No idea. Here I am looking, trying to I saw they sold a golf course the other day for $800,000, and I'm trying to figure out in my mind why I didn't buy it. I'm trying to figure out in my mind why didn't I put together a conglomerate and buy that golf course. See? Right? So I'm trying to tell you, listen to me. So when we go places and we go to eat, we listen to what those waiters and waitresses are saying, right? If they bad mouth in the restaurant, I don't want to be there, right? Know the environment. Know who's sitting among you. You know, I go to an auto place. I'm watching. I'm paying attention to what's going on. Know the environment. Know who you're talking to. Know who you're talking to, right? Because you don't want nobody to come put you on blast. Right? Because you don't know how many followers a person got. Know your environment. Do what you need to do. Make that thing happen, man. I mean, for real. Right? I'm trying to tell you this. Now, as an employer, it is your responsibility to control that situation. Right? And sometimes you got to let people go. Listen, it is not your responsibility to take care of their family. It is their responsibility to take care of their family. So if they do something in the workplace that costs them their job, you got to find a way to sleep with that. You got to find a way to rest with that, because I know they're going to come and tell you, I need my money, I got kids. Those aren't your kids. They're their kids. And your customers are important, because when people start pulling money away from you, the perpetuity of the organization becomes suspect. you're going to lose customers, you're going to lose money. If you lose money, all employees are affected by that. So you have to maintain that environment and make sure that they're going to do what they need to do. Listen, that's just a little peek of what it is that I want to hit you with. I wanted to holler at you, let you know what's up, let you know what's happening. But man, it's your boy, man. It's Dr. Danny, man, diving deep for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. The only thing I ask you to do, man, is I ask you to share this thing with somebody, baby, and it's out there and it's happening. Thank you so much. You just finished tuning in to Dr. Danny and Diving Deep with Dr. Danny. Now it's time to go to work. Words mean nothing if there's no work to follow. The work is yours to do. Have a good evening.